Alright, we got another video here. So this one's actually just going to be about Disney theme park guest dealing with a fight. So let's see what happened here over at Disney. For those that don't know, I lived down in Orlando for about 3 years. So it's very close to home for me. I'm just kidding. I wasn't that big of a Disney person. If you couldn't tell by me hanging out on Breitbart News. But still, though, you don't want people like doing this or your hometown or like it's just not a good look. So let's see what happened now. Oh, there it was. There you go. You hear that too. Boom! Right in the back of the head. This girl. There's that girl both times. This girl right here. Boom! Look at that. You don't do that. You don't do that, alright? Don't ever run up behind someone and hit someone, ever. If you hit someone, you walk up to their face and you say, it reminds me of Craig's daddy. He's like, you think that gun makes you a man? I'm a man without it. That scene's so damn good. I could talk about that scene for a while. I think that scene is what elevated Friday to classic level. Like, to just like, it made Friday what it was, that scene. Put your dukes up. And then Craig hits him with a brick. That's another story, whatever. See, look. It was two different people. I can tell though, the fight ain't over.
It's shocking that security's not here at Orange County. They get here, roll behind the curtain, and people be excluded from here forever. Hey, look at this guy. Holy smokes.
And I'm pretty sure, like, I'll pause it for a second. You can see some of like castle tops right here in the background. I'll try and pause a little bit closer. Here comes some cast members too. Where do they go? Yeah, so honestly, that was very tame to what I've seen some of these fights happen in Orlando or at Disney World. And you just gotta keep in mind that like a lot more people are there than just you and the people you're beefing with. So it's not really nice to ruin their experience based on your own personal stuff. But what I will say about this ordeal here is that luckily it was calm. Don't expect to be running up behind someone and hitting someone behind them, and it's like when you do that, it's like you're asking for trouble. And ultimately, if you hit someone from behind and say they fall on the ground and they fall on the ground, they hit their face or they hit their head in such a way where they receive a concussion, or they in some way, like some accident happens, some unforeseen accident occurs where this person's life is now irreparably changed based on you hitting them, a jury and a judge and just the judicial system and the legal system in general will not be favorable to you, the person who hit someone from behind. Just like in the video I talked about a moment ago, or the video before this, if you haven't checked it out yet, it's about the Houston gunman, attempted robber, and the gunman who stopped him. And what I said in this video, or that video, it's similar to this video, is that the gunman had shot the robber when he was turned away. And in this case, these fights were occurring while people that were throwing the punches were hitting people that weren't looking in their direction. And so in neither case is a judge or the jury or any of these people going to be lenient on people who hit people or attack people when they're not looking or when their guard is down. It's much better, honestly, is if you shouldn't be fighting regardless, but if you are going to fight, you don't want to be hitting someone ever who's not looking at you. Yeah, personally, I don't think you should fight really under any circumstance unless you have to fight, and in which case it's like, all right, well, don't grab any weapons, don't do anything stupid, but like you got to fight sometimes, and like that's just the way it is. If there's no escaping it, stand your ground, and hopefully you're ready. But in cases like these, it's crazy, and this all kind of comes at the head of what has been a tumultuous year for Disney. Disney has gone through so much turmoil. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I lived down in Orlando for about 3 years. Disney was a few miles from where I lived, and in my time living down in Orlando, I always enjoyed living near the parks. I worked with a couple companies that did work with the parks. I worked doing logistics. I worked doing transportation, getting people to and from the parks, dealing with like convention crowds and stuff like that. So I guess I, as someone who was like part of the magic in a way, I empathize with all the guests who are in no way are part of this fight, and that sucks because these people pay a lot of money to go to these parks, like a lot of money, and it's only gotten more expensive. And if you have one of your days ruined by this fight, like it can really just really mess up your stuff. To have a family of 4 get into the parks for a day, you're looking on the low end. If you did like a park hopper, I mean, you're not getting into that park for like under $120 a day. Maybe you could get in a little bit lower if you really work the deals and hit the off season. Even though this is January, like it's that close to New Year's that it's not really the off season as much. So it's still like an in-demand day. It's not as like peak as the summer months. So it's like, I'm trying to think, the summer months would be like from Memorial Day to Labor Day. That's gonna be the peak days of operation where you're gonna pay the most. And then there are like days below that where it's like a yellow and not a red. Yellow meaning you're gonna pay a good bit still. Green meaning you'll pay the least. And with it this close to New Year's, it's not gonna be like a green day. Hey, shout out Green Day. But these people, while we're talking about, these people do look like some American idiots. And moral of the story is don't be an American idiot and try and go to Disney on Green Days. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. I think that's a pretty fitting place to end it. Hopefully everyone's safe, staying safe. I would recommend continuing to be safe. Uh, aside of what, aside from Disney's ill-advised policies and ill-advised political political views as a whole, like as a company, I still think the parks are really good. I think the parks are universe. Personally would recommend going to Universal Studios, either Islands of Adventure or Universal Studios in Universal's Volcano Bay. That those three parks are much more geared towards like young adults, teenagers, and like slightly older kids. Whereas like Disney's Magic Kingdom, even though it is, if you've never been to Magic Kingdom, you do need to go at least once. That is the most magical place on the planet or magical place on Earth. That's just due to how much money and how much investment's gone on in that place. But yeah, if you've been there and you maybe have your kids are a little bit older and you're planning on going there again, I would recommend Universal 10 times out of 10. And this is coming from someone who, again, I did work with Epcot, with Universal Studios, with Blizzard Beach, with Disney. I'm trying to think of the parks. Like, there weren't really many parks we didn't do work with. So I guess as far as like the culture, the park culture goes, and like the park, because there really is like a culture to it. There's people who go there year round. There's people who live down in Orlando that do it year round. There's like content creators and YouTubers who are constantly there, who are constantly participating in that ecosystem. And then you have people who are avid fans that come from around the country. Then you have people who are traveling from around the world. So you have all sorts of people coming to these parks, and it's for good reason. There is a lot of money, a lot of ingenuity, a lot of technology. Everything has kind of come to a pinnacle at that location in Orlando. That is the flagship location. That is Disney World. It's not Disneyland over like in Anaheim, California, which is very limited in size. It's not like Disneyland Tokyo or Disneyland Paris. All those parks are good, and um, they do have like a popularity among their regions, and then they also do have some international clout, for lack of a better word. But nothing compares to Disney World down in Orlando, Florida. That's the flagship location. Princesses from everywhere want to work there. People from all the different cast members and crews, they want to transfer to Orlando. It's the hub. It's where all the best rides are brought to. It's where all the best cast members are brought to. It's where dreams come true. Shout out to Disney on that one, and I'm saying shout out to Walt Disney, because Walt Disney knew what was up, and Disney World is still far away from being done. I think they've only developed like 10% of the land it's on, and Walt Disney World is huge, huge. I think at the high end, it's like 20% of the land developed. The amount of land down, I think it's 80 square miles of property. I think it might be 80,000 acres. It's something like that, where it's either 80 square miles or it might be both. Like 80 square miles might be 80,000 acres. And so if you think about it just like in terms of scale and of pure size, this park is huge. And so all that to say, you shouldn't be doing this sort of crap at these parks. If you do go there, show some respect. People come from all over the world. Enjoy your time there. Don't get too drunk. Coming from me, I know. But at the same time, you'll have fun. You'll enjoy yourself. And if you see something like this happening, try and stop it, but don't get in the way of it, because ultimately, like, you don't want it messing up your stuff. But yeah, anyway, I'll leave it at that. Much love. Go check out Disney if you got a chance. But if you're kind of on the fence about it, just go to Universal Studios. You'll have more fun there anyway. But all right, well, much love, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. And if you are on Twitch, we are going to keep on rolling. But if you're on YouTube, please Please consider commenting, liking, sharing, and subscribing if you find this sort of content interesting. And we'll have a couple more news stories for you coming up as well. Thank you. Take care. Peace out.